again. But whatever, this isn't the point. In the end, the island is just a dog-shaped rock covered with birds and sunburnt gawkers, temporarily surrounded by terrified dinoflagellates. It's this wading out that matters, this crossing, the bright, migratory animalness of it, going waist-deep, chest-deep, waist-deep again. What matters is how, halfway over, Finn looks back at us, then ahead again, and says to no one, or everyone, or maybe just to Sarah, "I reckon this is how the afterlife must look." I see Dad look at Mum and mouth the word, "Afterlife?" Finn is the palest of us, lighter even than Mum, blonde all the way to his eyelashes, the only one who crisps up in the sun. He looks adopted, a thing we all know, but know better than to say. Anyway, there it is. Do I make it through childhood without staking every possible biological claim on the man who calls us both my beloved savage? I'm ashamed to say I do not. I'm content to share him only in his lesser moments. It is my dad who used to play bass in an almost famous blues band, but it is our dad who, before the blues band, used to play clarinet in a high school orchestra. It is my dad who promises to buy us a pair of albino axolotls, our dad who reneges when Finn and I neglect our goldfish duties and Skeletor's tank is all slime and fug. There was a time, some years, where it was just Finn and Mum, and this is maybe what I'm getting back at him for, or else I'm getting back at him for all the names he isn't called in school, the way no one ever asks where he's from, whether his parents are refos, or else it's the fact that, even though one of them is dead, he has two fathers, doesn't have to share his, and is allowed to wander off without telling anyone, to give reasons like just thinking or just walking, getting soft looks instead of strife. Does my brother find some spiteful way of getting even, of undermining my full-bloodedness? He never does. Maybe he never feels the need to. Finn takes these pissing contests for what they are. In actual pissing contests, there is no competition, and really no point. He gets halfway to the bougainvillea tumbling over the top of the fence, while I try, no hands, not to dribble on my runners. At the deepest point of the crossing, the ocean reaches my lower lip, and I hold on to Mum, feel my feet levitate from the shell grit below, become cargo swinging from her strong gold shoulder, safe in her smell of coconut oil and warm bread as she pushes on towards the island. Around us, the ocean thickens to an algaeic soup that stinks of dead things, proof that the plankton are here, though invisible for now. It isn't dark enough to give them away yet. This is the point where Finn's raft begins to keel, the empty buckets unhitching, and Sarah responds with a lot of high-pitched wailing and clutching at salty air. When the raft breaks apart, Finn keeps his word, and Sarah scrambles up from the wreckage to ride his bony shoulders, her little grabby starfish hands clenching fistfuls of his tawny hair. It must hurt badly, his face like a cheap rubber mask of itself, but he says nothing while trying to shepherd pieces of the debris ahead of himself. Waves slap at his face, trying to get in through his mouth and nose. He screws his eyes shut, snorts water, while higher up Sarah sings, oblivious, her stubby little feet hooked under his wrists. "Hey, mate," Dad offers. "I can take her." But both Finn and Sarah shake their heads, so Dad just cruises alongside in a coastguardish sort of way until the ocean finally slips from Finn's shoulders and leaves Sarah cheerily marooned up there. There are no photographs of this day. Mum dropped the disposable quick-snap crossing back to the mainland, and though we groped and kicked around, no one turned it up. Perhaps that's why I remember it so vividly, Finn stumbling through the breakers with Sarah, delivering her safely to the